Starting with just a regular deck of playing cards, you remove the two jokers from the pack, showing the jokers both front and back. As there's nothing to be seen out of the ordinary, you then take a paper clip and paper clip the two jokers together. You could even pass them around the table if you wanted to. Anyway, the jokers go in your pocket. Remember, they're paper clipped together. You then have a card selected. Since you're not here, we'll just use the three of hearts, and that card gets signed. After they sign the card, you want to lose it back into the pack, after which the magic is about to happen. You give them a paper clip and have them wave it over the pack as if like a magic wand, and tell them the magic just happened because now clipped, the paper clip is still there, but now in between the two jokers that were paper clipped together in your pocket, there's one card. Wasn't there before. Not just any card, it's actually their signed card, just like magic. Right on is the perfect little bit of mentalism. It's easy to perform and fun to do. The performer states there's one card missing from this pack of 52. I wrote something on the back of one card earlier, and I placed that one card in my pocket. I'll show it to you, but I'll keep it in motion so that you cannot read what's on there. But just remember, my prediction has been made well in advance of your selection. I'm going to ask you to name any card. It doesn't matter. Any card at all. Three of clubs. There's a lot of cards here. If that's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. Look, there's even a joker in there if you had named that. But the three of clubs was your totally free selection. And of course, their selection is totally free. You run through the pack. You take their card out. There's the two of clubs you could have thought of, but no, you went for the three of clubs. Keep in mind, your selection was totally 100% free. You really could have named any card that you wanted to. Remember my prediction from the very beginning? Well, you won't believe it, but look, my prediction was the three of clubs. From the very beginning, your selection, just like magic. The Informer is an effect that you'll love to perform because it has a surprise finish. You run through the pack, take out one card stating that this card is my informer. This card tells me everything that's about to happen. It actually talks to me at times. So the spectator selects a card and they sign it however they wish. Then the selected card gets lost back into the pack and the entire pack of cards go back into the card case. Now get ready for the magic, because the informer never lets me down. It always gives me clues as to what your card is. It's telling me right now your card was a red card, wasn't it? And it's telling me it was probably a heart rather than a diamond. Probably a heart. I believe so. And it's... What? Wait a minute. It's telling me that... I'm not sure if this is right. Yeah, okay. It's telling me your card was the five of... It says turn me around. What do you mean? Oh, turn me around. That's right. Your card was the informer, the five of hearts that was in my pocket from the very beginning, making the informer an impossible card to pocket. Oh, what a beautiful move this is. I'm really happy to be able to share this move with you. The move looks like this. Four of clubs on the bottom of the pack. You apparently go to your pocket to remove a card that you placed there, and it looks as though that card comes from your pocket. Once again, their selection is controlled to the bottom of the deck. You apparently go to your pocket to remove a card, and that card looks as though it comes from the pocket. Very, very natural indeed. Card to pocket. Very beautiful indeed. Well, anyway, let me show you how the move is performed. You simply control the spectator's card to the bottom of the deck. You obtain a pinky break, a rather deep pinky break, and you can widen that break with your little finger by wiggling it like that if you have to, which helps out a little bit sometimes. And as you apparently place your thumb into your pocket, you pull your pocket away from your chest, and as you apparently remove that card, you're actually reaching behind your thumb and you're pivoting that card up and around your thumb so that it looks as though it is coming from your pocket. it looks like this. Pinky break underneath the card, pull out your pocket, reach into your pocket to apparently remove that card. But it gets better than that, because the spectator's card doesn't have to be on the bottom. The spectator's card can be second from the bottom. Again, you get your pinky break under 2 cards this time. And as you're going to remove the card from your pocket, you simply reach behind the bottom card and pull out the second card very freely, just like you did before, and it pivots up and around your thumb coming out of your pocket. It would look like this. A pinky break, gesture towards your pocket, you reach inside your pocket and remove the spectator's card. Second from the bottom, giving you more freedom to be able to control their card second to the bottom and showing the deck freely, obtaining your pinky break as you gesture towards your pocket, you come over and apparently remove that card from your pocket. But it gets better than that, because the spectator's card can actually be taken from your pocket even though it is lost in the center of the deck. There's a move in the Greater Magic series, book series, that has a move where you place the card in the center of the deck, and as you push it in, you secretly control that card into a horizontal position like that. It's under cover of your hand. That card is then pulled out of the deck a little bit before you come down to the table to ribbon spread. Now the card is apparently lost, but it's actually riding sideways or horizontally underneath the pack. That move can be performed face up or face down. Card goes into the pack, you secretly get it into this position. Right before you go to spread, you pull the card out a little bit and you spread the cards on the table. Now there's no control over the cards apparently, but you can still perform the same card to pocket move, because their cards running horizontally underneath. As you pick up the cards, all you do is push the card to the other side of the pack. You perform that as you come up like this, which leaves you in this position. The card is almost out of the deck entirely, but is kept hidden because your hand is down. You come up to your pocket, you gesture with you pull the pocket out with your thumb, and then you remove your card. Now, how to get into that horizontal position, this is how I do it. There are several other ways to do it that other performers have come up with, but I come up with my own. I simply place the card in the middle of the deck, in the rear position of the deck, and as I go to push it in, my fingertips hit the pack. My fingertips stop, which leaves that card protruded from the back portion of the pack. As I go to re-grip the pack with my fingers coming forward, my thumb pushes that card a little bit horizontal. It's covered with my fingers re-gripping the pack. Now underneath, I'm going to grip that card with my little finger of my left hand and my first finger of my left hand, and I'll totally push that card to a horizontal position. Again, I had control moving the card back and forth. It goes into a horizontal position. I pull it out to the left, to the right of the pack as I spread the card so that it doesn't stick out in the spread. Let me go through that one more time. The card gets inserted into the rear of the deck. It gets pushed in. You stop. Your thumb makes contact with the edge of the card. Right there. It makes contact with the edge of the card. Pushes it horizontally part way. Your little finger grabs it with your left hand and your first finger, and it turns it totally horizontal, and it pulls it out a little bit before I go down to the table to spread the cards. Now in real time, it would look just like this. Their card is lost into the center of the pack, and as I spread the cards on the table, their card is now horizontal within the pack. As I pick up the cards, I keep the cards tilted down, and as I come up, I'm pushing the card to the other side of the deck. I then relax before I gesture to my pocket. I stick my thumb in my pocket and apparently remove their card from my pocket. Sometimes I'll pressure fan the cards before I place their card in. Then as I close the fan up, the card is automatically in the rear position of the pack. I push it in, I square it up a little bit, and go into the move that way. Simply removing their card from my pocket. That's another way to do it. Another way to do it, it even gets better than that, because you can actually take their card. Let me use the two of clubs. That'll be their selection. You control it to the bottom of the deck. After you do that, you can then place the cards into a card box and set the card box down. Now there's absolutely no control. Yet, whenever you wish, you can emphasize their card was lost in the pack. Yet, if you go up to your pocket, you can still remove a card from your pocket, which is the bottom card of the deck, the two of clubs. Now, how you do this, I come up with a method. I figured it would be nice to be able to put the cards in the deck, or in the pack rather, and actually remove it from my pocket. So I decided all I had to do was to cut the bottom of the card box out, and this is how I did that. I took a razor knife, and from the very corner of the bottom of the pack, I cut about 2.5 inches. The entire side is cut out right here with a slit. I then cut a 1-inch square portion out of the lower, that'd be the lower left-hand corner of the pack. After I did that, I cut out about half of the side of the pack. I cut half of the side out, and then I took a pair of scissors and I cut off a little bit of the bottom, of the pack. I took off about 1/4 of an inch down here. Why I did that is because I can now push that card out. The bottom card comes out, so that it's in a position for me to come reach around, pivot it out of the pack entirely, and apparently come out of my pocket. So once again, it would look like this. The cards have been placed into the case. You no longer have any control over of their card whatsoever, yet you can simply reach up into your pocket and produce that card from your pocket. This is the method that I used in The Informer, the effect the Informer. Very, very nice indeed. Such a beautiful move. It is so natural in appearance, removing a card from your pocket. It's so direct in purpose. It just goes right to the very heart of what you have to get done right in front of the spectators, and is extremely versatile. Well, anyway, let's take a look at how I used this particular beautiful move in the effects you've just seen. You're going to need a regular deck of playing cards, including 2 jokers that come with the regular pack of cards. You're also going to need 2 additional jokers from another deck of cards that match the backs of the cards that you're playing with. You're going to need a tube of super glue gel, not the liquid, but the gel super glue. You're going to need some jumbo paper clips. These can be bought at any stationery store. They're a little bit larger than a normal paper clip. And you're going to need a pair of tin snips. You take one of the jokers, the extra jokers, and on the back of it, you glue with a super gel pen a paper clip to the very back. But first, what you have to do, let me find this jumbo paper clip here for you, just to show you exactly how you make this up. You take your tin snips and you want to cut out the center portion of that paper clip. So you snip it along the inside of one of the edges. After you snip it, the center section, the loop at the center section will then come out, leaving you with just a partial paper clip. But after you put your super glue gel on this and you glue it to the back of a joker, like I have, I've glued it right to the very, very edge of that joker. It's glued right at the very edge of the joker itself. So you super glue gel that down. After you've done that, you're pretty much ready to go. The setup is this. The 2 regular jokers are on the bottom of the pack. You then take the joker with the paper clip glued on the back of it. You take that joker and you turn it face up on top of the pack with the paper clip facing towards you. You then take the other joker and place that on top of that joker. You then take an indifferent card, it doesn't matter what it is, and you place it on top. Then you place everything inside the card box. so that when you come out with the cards from the card box, the paper clip is towards the back end of the deck, because there's going to be a little tiny break because of the paper clip adding thickness, a little break towards the back of the pack. Okay, you bring the cards out of the deck, out of the pack, and you ribbon spread them on the table. And as you ribbon spread them, you want to keep a block of cards on top. You don't want to ribbon spread the top dozen of cards or so. This will enable you to actually do a ribbon spread turnover. So you bring them out of the pack, you conceal the top cards, you ribbon spread them, turn them over, and you explain that you're going to be using the 2 jokers that come with every pack of cards. I then set the deck of cards off to the side, and I spread the top cards a little bit because there's still a little tiny break down here at the very bottom. And by spreading those cards a little bit, it helps to hide that little tiny break. I take the regular jokers, I take one paper clip, and I paper clip them together. After I've done that, I pass them around the table for everyone to examine. The cards come back to me. I push the paper clip square once again. I place them in my pocket, because later on I'm going to be performing that card to pocket move that we just learned, and apparently the same jokers are coming out of my pocket later on, but they never do. Okay, the jokers are placed in the pocket. The spectator selects the card. When I offer the selection to the spectator, I use my thumb and keep a block of cards. I push a block of cards off to the right before I start spreading all the other cards. That prevents them from choosing any of the 3 top cards, and they simply select one for themselves. As I give them the magic marker to sign their name to this card, and all their attention is on that card as they're signing it, I then get a 2-card break with my right thumb underneath the second card of the pack. So it's actually a 2-card break. I'm getting a break underneath the first face-up joker. Alright, I then transfer the break with my thumb. I transfer it over to the base of my thumb, of my left hand, which keeps the break held at the base of my thumb instead of at my little fingers. I do this while they are signing the card. I simply get a break, transfer it to the base of my thumb, and I'll wait for the return of the card. When the card is returned to me, I don't look at it. I just simply hold it up and show it to everyone one last time. Next, I'm going to take their card and supposedly place it into the center of the deck, but I perform a modified tilt move, something that I came up with. I'm sure other people have come up with this move already. Instead of doing a full tilt, since I have a break at the base of my thumb, I turn the pack over and stick this card directly into the break and apparently push it in further down into the pack. It looks as though the card goes into the middle of the pack. But their card is actually being inserted right in between those 2 jokers. Let me do that for you again. I get a 2-card break, transferring it to the base of my thumb, show the card, and apparently place it into the center of the pack, but it goes into the break. I then dribble the cards a little bit. At this point, you can false cut the cards if you wish. I usually swing cut the top third of the cards off into my left hand, swing cut the remaining cards in half, retaining the packets in separate condition, drop the bottom half, put the middle half back, and put the top half right back on. Just a very simple false cut. Okay, now we're ready for the magic to happen, you tell them. Apparently their card has been lost into the pack. You give them a paper clip, they wave it over the deck, just like that. After they do that, you take the paper clip back and drop it in front of you. Because now you have to get rid of the top card. Because underneath the top card, you have their selection in between the 2 jokers. So you simply double undercut. As you raise your hands up, you simply double undercut the top card to the bottom of the deck. As you say, well, your card has just vanished. That's what happened when you waved the paper clip. If I were to look through the cards one at a time, you would see that your card is no longer in the pack. At this point, on the back side of the deck is this: 2 jokers with their selection in between. Your card is now vanished from the pack. It even sounds like, and as I come down to listen to the cards, I ruffle the back edge of the pack and get a break underneath the top 3 cards. This is very easy because on the bottom card you have that paper clip which already gives you a natural break down here. So all you have to do is riffle the pack a little bit and you get a break. It even sounds like your card is vanished. Now my little finger is inside that break and I'm ready to do the card from pocket move. But first, I pick up their paper clip which they used and I say, well, it vanished because you waved the magic paper clip. I then pretend to place this clip back into the pile of clips that's on the table, but I finger palm it as I come over to apparently place it back in. The paper clip is finger palmed. I gesture towards my pocket, say, remember those jokers in my pocket still? Place my thumb in my pocket. I perform the card from pocket move with all three cards. It looks the same. It looks as though I've just taken the two jokers out of my pocket and they're still paper clipped. Now all I have to do is pretend to remove that paper clip, pretend to remove it, and place it on the table. Very easy to do. You simply tilt the cards downwards as you release the paper clip from your finger palm. Paper clip's finger palmed. You simply release it as you come down to the table. You pick up the paper clip and toss it aside. Now, in between the two jokers, there's one card face down. It wasn't there before. Not just any card, but this card happens to be your card, your signed card. And now for the explanation to write on. You're going to be needing a pack of cards, a magic marker, and also the two jokers which come with that deck of cards. On the back of one of the jokers, I want you to write down the 5 of spades, because this joker is going to be in your pocket as your prediction. And if you remember, I did show the prediction ahead of time, saying that I had something written down on the back of a playing card. But I made sure that the 5 of spades was brought out upside down so that when I did show it, no one could possibly read what was on there because it was in motion and it was upside down. So one joker with the 5 of spades is in your pocket. The other joker you'll use in just a moment. We'll lay that aside for right now. To set up the deck of cards, you need to write the name of 52 cards on the back of each card. How this is done is very simple. Just follow along with me. Shuffle your deck up until the deck of cards are thoroughly mixed with reds and blacks, odds and evens. The deck has been thoroughly shuffled. After the deck is in a shuffled state, you spread them on the table in front of you and you start the marking process. You take the very bottom card, the first face-up card, and you also take the very last card. In my case, it's the 5 of clubs, and the very last card over here is the King of Diamonds. Now, on the back of the 5 of clubs, or whatever your card may be, on the back of the card that you take off of the face-up portion over here, you write down the name of whatever card's on top. In other words, the King of Diamonds is over here, and I write the King of Diamonds on the back of that very first card that came from over here. I write the King of Diamonds on that, and I place the card in front. I then take the next card, in this case the 8 of Hearts, and on the back of the 8 of Hearts with the magic marker, I write the name of the card that I laid up front, in this case the 5 of Clubs. So I write the 5 of Clubs on the back of the next card that came from my spread. I go to the next card, whatever this card happens to be, I write down the name of the card that I just laid on the table. In this case would be the 8 of Hearts. I write the name of the 8 of Hearts on the back of that card. And you continue doing this all the way through the entire pack until you get to the very last card. What this will do, it will give you a deck of cards that is now set up so that no matter where the cards are cut, whatever that bottom card happens to be, well, the next card down is going to have the name of this card written on the back. The 3 of Hearts is right there. It doesn't matter where you cut the cards, as long as it's a straight cut, the name of this card, the top card, is going to be written down on the card before it. In this case, the King of Hearts is written on that one. So you're basically working on a one behind system instead of a one ahead system. So what you do then is take your joker and you add the joker to the top of the pack, so that when you bring these out of the box at the very beginning of the routine, no one sees any writing on the cards. This is how the routine progresses. You bring the cards out of the box, you give them a tight pressure fan so that none of the markings shows on the backs of the cards. After you show the cards front and back, you'll explain there's one card missing from this deck because I've taken a magic marker and I wrote something on the back of one of the cards. After I did that, I placed that card in my pocket. You then go to your pocket and bring out the joker with the 5 of spades written on it, but you keep it in motion and you place it back in your pocket very quickly. You further explain that you're going to have someone think of a card. It doesn't matter what card it is, and it truly doesn't matter what card they think of. They can think of any card whatsoever. They can look at the cards if they wish. If not, they can just make one up in their mind. After they've thought of a card, they name that card out loud. When they name the card, you give the cards a little bit of just a simple one cut, just a single cut. They name the card. By the way, that loses the joker in the middle of the deck because you're going to be taking that out in just a moment. They name the card, whatever they thought of. Let's say they think of the 2 of spades. You then go through the pack and you say, well, gee, you could have thought of any card at all. Look at all the possibilities. Even the joker is in here. In case you may have thought of the joker. I even had you covered on that. But you take the joker out and you set it in front of you because later on you're going to add that back to the pack so that the writing on the back of these cards will not show. I'll take the joker out. I'll lay it here. That was another possibility you didn't think of. You said the 2 of spades. At this point, you simply go through the cards till you come to the 2 of spades, or whatever card they think of, and you cut the deck at that point, a straight cut. Now, once again, remember, the card underneath this 2 of spades is going to have the 2 of spades written on it. In this case, the queen should have the 2 of spades written on it, and yes, there it is, the 2 of spades. So you give the deck a single cut, you bring their card to the bottom of the deck stating, well, gee, you could have thought of any card, but you thought of the 2 of spades. I usually use the card case as a little card stand as I take their card off to set it into the stand. Before I do that, though, I always add the joker to the rest of the pack as I'm talking about the fact you could have thought of any card, the 2 of spades. I didn't force you, blah, 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 blah. You then go to take the 2 to set it in a little card stand, and you're getting a break underneath the queen of spades with a little finger, getting prepared to do the card from pocket move. So you simply take the card off. You could have thought of any card, the 2 of spades. Well, let's see if my prediction, what I wrote on my prediction, if it matches. And you bring it out, you turn it over, set the deck down. Now there's a joker here, so there's no writing. You hold up the 2 of spades, which matches their card, which they thought of. 1 chance out of 52 is an unbelievable effect. But no matter what card they think of, you're always right on. This is a variation of how to perform right on. In this variation, you don't need to write anything on the backs of the cards, which makes it nice. And in this variation, you have your blue back card as your prediction in your pocket. You take the cards out of the case. You simply tell the spectator that as I show you these cards, I want you to think of one that you see in here. Just look the cards over and think of a card, which they do. Doesn't matter which one they think of. You then have them name the card out loud when you snap your fingers. What's your card? Let's say they name the 3 of clubs. You simply divide the deck in half when you come to their card, which would be, in this case, the 3 of clubs, and you bring it up to the top. You emphasize once again, you could have thought of any card. Is that fact true? And it is. Well, let's see if the card in my pocket could possibly be the exact match to the card you thought of. 3 of clubs, your card. My card was also the 3 of clubs. Now, to perform this version, you're going to be needing a blue back card, doesn't matter what it is, as a prediction that goes in your pocket ahead of time. And you're also going to be needing a gimmick deck of cards. By the way, the other prediction was already in there. I added the wrong card to my pocket. You're going to be needing a deck of cards that are roughed and smoothed together. 26 pairs of cards. I've chosen 26 cards at random in a red back deck of cards. hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs, odds and evens, they're all mixed in. Then with roughing fluid, I roughed the pairs together. In this case, the 6 of hearts to the 6 of hearts, or whether it would be the 4 of clubs to the 4 of clubs. So I have 26 pairs roughed together. You start the routine off by taking an odd back card. You're removing the odd back card as a prediction, and you place it in your pocket. You bring the cards out of the card case. You simply shuffle them if you want to a little bit face down, implying that all the cards have red backs. You have them think of a card that they see in the deck. The only difference in this variation is that they actually have to see the card that is in the pack. You can't have them think of any card. Now, to control this situation, usually I'll say, I'm going to have you think of a card in this deck of cards, but I want to be honest with you. I hate to admit it, but I'm not playing with a full deck. I think I've lost 1 or 2 cards. So be sure you see the card as I pass them before your eyes, so they think of a card that's in there. Now all you have to do is have them name the card they're thinking of. Let's say they named the 3 of spades this time. You simply look through the pack, divide the deck in half, cutting the deck at the 3 of spades, bringing it to the top. You then get your little thumb break on the back side, lifting up just the top card. In other words, you'll be lifting up the blue back 3 of spades, not the red back 3 of spades. You get a break underneath the top card, getting ready to perform the card to pocket move. Well, let's see if my card that I had in my pocket the whole time, my prediction, matches your 3 of spades. And of course, it always does. You're 100% right on. Some of you may prefer this variation because it has an odd back card as a prediction, and there's no writing involved whatsoever. But let's go further than that. You can actually have them think of any card. They don't have to see it or look at it, make sure that it's in the deck. You can have them think of any card and still perform this effect. And this is how you do it. It takes a little bit more time because now you have to rough and smooth 2 decks of cards. Remember, you have an odd back blue card as your prediction. I'll lay that down there. Each deck of cards have been rough and smooth together into 26 pairs. But in this case, only the even cards, the 2s, the 4s, the 6s, the 8s, the queens, have been rough and smooth together with the matching card underneath. In other words, the 2 of hearts has a 2 of hearts underneath it. Only the even cards are in one deck. In the other deck, obviously, you have all of the odd cards. The 3s, the 5s, the 7s, the jacks, etc. All the odd cards are in this deck of cards. The only exception that you're going to run into when you rough and smooth these pairs together, even and odds, since there are 24 even cards in a deck of playing cards, and since there are 28 odd cards, remove the 2 red kings from the odd deck. The 2 red kings are over here in the even deck. And I keep a mental note that the red kings are always going to be even. What this does, this evens out both packs of cards so that each deck of cards has 26 cards in there. Now, to perform the effect, obviously the even cards are in one pocket, the odd cards are in another pocket, and I start the presentation by bringing out 1 odd back card, a blue back card as a prediction. I'll place it in my pocket for safekeeping, and later on we'll take a look at it. Would you please think of a card? It could be any card at all. Now, while they're thinking, there's nothing for you to do but wait until they name the card. If they name the 5 of clubs, that's an odd card. You know you have to bring the odd deck out of your pocket. So you bring the odd deck into view. Say the 5 of clubs. It was a free choice, was it not? I did not force you to think of the 5 of clubs. You could have thought of any card. Okay, let's find your card. You go through the cards, bringing the 5 of clubs up to the top of the pack. Now, trust me, because you're thumbing through and finding their card, it happens rather quickly. No one has ever noticed in my performance of this that all these cards happen to be odd. It's a mixture of red and black. No one has a chance to actually look the cards over that quickly to see if it's perhaps a regular deck of cards. Well, anyway, you bring their 5 of clubs to the top just like before. You get your break on the back side, getting ready to perform the card to pocket move. Now let's see if the card in my pocket matches your mental thought to 5 of clubs, and of course it always does. The same procedure is followed. If they think of an even card, you bring out the even deck of cards, and that is another variation of how to perform right on. I hope you've enjoyed it.